Good evening. 4 teenagers have been seriously injured after 2 carriages on a roller coaster crashed at the Alton Towers theme park in Staffordshire. The £18 million Smiler ride opened in May 2013. The 14-loop roller coaster has been closed down twice before because of technical issues. We'll be live at Alton Towers in just a moment, but first, here's our special correspondent, Peter Wilson.
It's dubbed the most terrifying roller coaster ride on Earth. This afternoon at 2:09, the terror became reality. 16 people were in the carriage which collided with an empty car on the Smiler roller coaster. 4 teenagers have serious leg injuries.
People were screaming and shouting, and even after it had stopped, it was again still screaming and shouting. But then everyone around the park also ran over, so it all gathered together pretty quickly.
The moment of the crash was captured by a 14-year-old Staffordshire schoolboy, Thomas Laird. Using his mobile phone, he felt the accident was all too predictable.
Oh my God!
The emergency services have built a platform to get to the injured. The fire services rope team helped paramedics and first responders from Alton Towers to get to those bloodied and bruised. Hours spent treating the injured as they still lay strapped in their seats. 4 air ambulances landed at the park to help ferry the injured away. Eyewitnesses say the Smiler ride had experienced problems earlier today. There are claims by some that the ride should have been halted earlier.
It was awful, especially I'm surprised that they had sent people round because they had said several times that they were having technical difficulties with the ride.
The Smiler at £18 million is Alton Towers' biggest investment and its biggest attraction. Smiler carriages travel at speeds of more than 50 miles an hour with sudden drops of nearly 100 feet. It was built with the help of psychologists to enhance the terror effect with video screens and hypnotic effects, heightening the thrills and to get the trademark smiles on people's faces. One couple from Sheffield were today queuing to get on the ride when the accident happened in front of them.
We were going to get on the next car and they were going up because we seen them going up at first and they were stuck and we thought, oh, it's all right. They said it's fine. So we went to go on. Then there were a big bang and just screaming like a big pop. They all escorted us out. The only thing they were bothered about is getting all us out. They weren't really bothered about anything else, just trying to move us.
It's like having a car crash, but like without the not as much safety, so it's even worse, isn't it? So imagine when it's hitting, because it's flat at the sphere, like front, and it's hitting into the back of another one, and obviously their legs are going to be hurting.
Today appears to be the worst accident in the history of the theme park. The Smiler ride has been plagued with technical problems since it opened in May 2013. Tonight, the operation to deal with the injured is still ongoing. Alton Towers say that there will be a full investigation once the park has been evacuated. Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands Today.
And our reporter Giles Latcham is at the theme park tonight. Giles, we've just been hearing it's the most serious ever accident at the park. What have people been saying to you this afternoon?
Well, Nick, I will come on to that. Important, though, to bring you some news we've had in the past few minutes from a colleague who's speaking to the emergency services and park management a short distance away from us here. This is not entirely confirmed, but we believe, contrary perhaps to earlier reports you may have heard, that there are still a number of people trapped on the Smiler ride. Now, bear in mind, this is a full 4.5 hours after this dreadful accident occurred. When we arrived here, the exodus had begun, if you like. People were leaving. They were all telling broadly the same story, that there was some kind of glitch, some kind of difficulty with the ride. It was shut down. A test carriage was sent around the ride to check it out, and it was that empty carriage with which another full carriage full of 16 people collided. Now, that full carriage had just come down from one of the loops on the Smiler ride. That's what it's famous for. There are 14 loops on this ride, so you can imagine it came down with quite some velocity.
And you're saying that people are still trapped, you think? I mean, that is really grim.
If that's the case, the horror those individuals are experiencing must be unimaginable. We've had a statement literally in the past few minutes from Ian Crabb, who is the Divisional Director for Alton Towers Resort. He says, "May I first say my colleagues and I are devastated by what has happened here today. Our only priority at this time is to work with the emergency services to get the 16 people affected off the ride safely." Now, that would indicate that the emergency operation is still ongoing. We've seen 2 ambulances on blue lights passing us in the past few minutes. So clearly, this is a developing situation. There are plenty of people who've left the park in the past few minutes after a good day out, but there are others there for whom a day of what should have been fun and excitement has turned to unimaginable horror.
Giles Latcham, thank you. Well, earlier I spoke to Justin Garvanovich via webcam, a roller coaster enthusiast, and began by asking him how unusual are incidents such as this?
Amazingly rare. Yeah, this just doesn't happen. Collisions on a roller coaster, you get odd mishaps where a ride will stop on a lift hill usually for various reasons, but for a ride to collide, it's just unprecedented. It really is.
I mean, these sort of rides are pretty hairy, so I should imagine safety measures are very exacting, aren't they?
Yeah, hugely exacting, yeah, as you say. I mean, each ride is checked every morning, and what they'll do, they'll check the track, they'll check the trains, check the wheels of the trains, check the safety restraints. Everything gets checked, and every year these rides are stripped down literally to their nuts and bolts, and every element is checked. These are very, very safe rides.
Do you have any idea how this might have happened then?
No idea. Absolutely no idea at all. It's just unprecedented. For a roller coaster to collide with another train, it just doesn't happen because there's a computer system monitoring the position of the trains at all time, and it should not allow a second train to be in the same area as another train. So quite how that happened, I mean, that's obviously what any investigation that takes place, I'm sure there'll be several, will have to try and figure out why was that second train allowed to be where the first train was. Because
this ride has actually had more than one problem before, hasn't it? I mean, do you think there's some sort of bigger issue here?
I don't think so. What it was, it had some initial teething problems. Most rides, or most large engineering projects have initial teething problems. And this had teething problems, but they weren't serious. There was famously, it got stuck on a lift with some celebrities on during the opening. And that's actually not a bad thing to happen. What that usually means is a sensor around the track has found something that shouldn't be there, and it's stopped the train. And that's quite safe, and I'm very happy when rides do that.
You've actually been on the ride, haven't you? What's it like?
It's a fantastic ride. You know, it's got 14 inversions, more than any other roller coaster in the world. It's a wonderful ride. It's a perfect ride for Alton Towers. And, you know, I've no problem with it at all. And, you know, I'm sure I won't in the future as well.
Should people be worried about going on it?
I think they probably will be right now. And I'd like to know why, because like I say, collisions don't happen. And usually when there's an accident of any type on a roller coaster, I can usually put a finger on what the problem is. And I cannot with this at this moment, because, as I say, this just doesn't happen. So right now, I'm very, very interested in finding out exactly how this happened. So the fact it happened means something must be wrong with a sensor or the control system on the ride.
Justin Garvanovich, thank you.
No problem.
And we've just had it confirmed that there are still some people trapped there and suspended in midair. That's more than 4 hours since the accident happened. And incidentally, there's more news about this on our BBC Staffordshire website.